You need to be admired. So if there's anyone here present today, thank you, and you have my respect and my admiration. When I was a member of the local 506 Laborers Union, I became the president of it because the majority of the members were Italian, and the majority of the people killed on the jobs were Italian. And every time that one of our members died on the job, my sad duty was to attend the funeral, and that was heartbreaking. See the family crying. But what happened? Only a week or so, everything is forgotten. Eventually, when I took the position of coordinator of the activity of the labor pensioner of our local, I decided that we should do something at least for the members of the local 506. And I invited the families of all the members that died on the job that I could trace. And we had a beautiful ceremony. It was touching. The Italian consul was there. Even the Portuguese consul attended because we had some Portuguese brothers that died too. And one of the attendant whose husband was killed many years ago in Toronto, she came with her daughter. And a few days later, I received a letter from the daughter, and she told me the story that was many years ago when she only was a child. She had the sad duty to translate from English to Italian what the policeman at the door was telling her mother, that her husband was killed on the job. And she said, after that, nobody remembered. And she had a tough time, but she became a teacher, a very noble profession. And she was so grateful that of that event that we had, that at the end we gave her a bouquet of roses to the families, the widows of the fallen workers, and they went straight to the cemetery. And when she went home, she wrote a letter to me that I still conserve. And that, I said, is that what it does to the families of the Italian, of the workers? We have to do something about it. And I launched the idea to Dr. Gianni Bardini, who was the Consul General. He embraced the idea. And he called a meeting of the Italian community right here on Colombo Center. And everybody were in favor, and he said, go ahead. And I put together a committee, and we start working on it. A piece of cake. I didn't realize how hard it was. It was so hard that I couldn't find the names. We didn't know where to find them. I didn't know how to handle the computer. We couldn't raise money. After a few months, we had only a few hundred names, thanks to Corriere Canadese that let me go through the archive. And every time that a person was killed on the job, it's on the front page. So that's, I got 200-300 names right there. And we collected a few $1,000s, but we weren't going anywhere. And time was going by, and people were wondering what's going on with your project. I was about to quit until my colleague, Fortunato Rao, said, no, don't give up. And I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. And I kept pushing. But we still were grasping in the dark. We didn't know where to go. Until I think that God saw our situation. And the miracle happened. All of a sudden I received a call from a lady that offered her help. Her name is Paola Breda. And I say, God bless you, Paola Breda, because without her help, we wouldn't be here today. And she found the name. Oh, she was found, and she knew how to contact the right people to make donation. And on April 28, 2016, we unveiled our memorial. We have 1,000 names on it. And the following year, on April 28, again, we had another ceremony in front of our memorial. And we added more names. And the third year, we added more names. Consequently, we have 1,300 names engraved on our memorial, And I had some people here that asked me how come my father or my brother is not there. The reality is that we didn't stop searching the archive because we knew that there were so many more. Consequently, now we have 2,000 more names and we don't know where to put them. And not only that, we are sure that there's going to be several hundred more because we have found records of accidents, like in Goganda, well, the miner were a group of Italian miners, and that was the most dangerous mine in Canada. And they were dying to the point that these miners couldn't take it anymore. They wanted to go to complain to somebody. That in Ontario, we didn't even have an Italian consulate. They went to Quebec to complain, but what could the Italian consulate do? It was so bad that eventually even the mine closed and Goganda was abandoned. The cemetery there, you can't even read the name because the moss grew on the stones. Now the Goganda is a town, it's not a town. Mother Nature took over. It's only known by the hunter that go hunting the moose there every year. But the names have to be recorded somewhere. We have record of places where 70 Italian workers were killed on the railroad, and we only found 10. Where are the others? They have to be in some record somewhere. They were working for CPR. We need people, and I'm sure that in the Italian community there are enough people that have the ability, the time, and the will to help us. To help us to find the names, because the names are there. And we need this lots of time, lots of goodwill to find them. But we also need money to finish this project. We have to finish it. Siamo Italiani. We can't abandon the people that came in Canada for a better future. And the Italian community in Canada is stronger, 1.5 million people, and we can't even honor them. They are here, they died, and with they dying here, they gave us the opportunities that in Italy we couldn't even dream to have. So let's show some gratitude, let's show some respect. These people, we have to remember them. How can we not? I tell you, I've been in Canada for 70 years. Sadly, all my family, they are all resting in that cemetery back home in Italy. But I'm here, thousands of miles away. I have a little cottage up north, and for each one of them I dedicated a stone and I dedicated a tree for them, so I can honor. That's how important it is. We are civilized, we're human beings. Siamo Italiani. We have to do something. Well, what else can I say? Help us to finish this project. I mean, I have people here that are 93, 94. I'm 92 years old. We would like to see it finished while we're still alive. Thank you. That's only what. There is the Italian community is one of the most industrious, laboriose, hard-working community. 1.5 million and growing. Can't we even build a memorial? We are only halfway. We have to put the names somewhere to remember them. We try to do the most economical way, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to ask you, but I say, let's finish this project. It's the right thing to do. We should do it. Thank you, brothers. Okay, first of all, this is not a Marino Topang project. It's a teamwork. And I want to thank all my committee, starting for Gino Cucchi, Mario Mara, Fulvio Florio, Fortunato Rao, Fabio Florio, and Paul Di Julio, and Lilian Payano. And of course, the most important, the one that we are, the thanks to her involvement here today is here, Paola Breda. Thank you guys, God bless you. You will have my gratitude, my respect forever, for the rest of my life. As far as Paola, I think that Paola Breda, God sent her, and we should, I don't know, we should build a monument for Paola. Let's finish this project. I think that people must be tired of hearing me ask you to make donations, but if you have a checkbook, write a check, and it's tax deductible. Make it payable to Villa Charity, but make sure that you say Reed Memorial. It won't take very much in such a community. It should be a walk in the park. But we have to finish this job. So thank you again for listening. Thank you for coming, and God bless you all. Thank you.
So Marino's passion, he always goes off script. So just give me a minute. If you don't believe the Italians were killed in great numbers in Canada, I will share a few quotes with you. No one could discover the name of an Italian who had been killed by a falling beam, 1901. A great number of Italians who have been in the freight passenger yards in the city have met their death in the county of York, Globe and Mail, 1904. William Cronin and two unknown Italians were crushed to death by the fall of a derrick at the Trent Canal, Globe and Mail, 1908. The toll of construction deaths in the Transcontinental Railway over the last few months was 68, and they were all Italian, Globe and Mail, 1909. And it goes on and on. To give you an understanding of the depth of human loss through workplace tragedies in the Italian immigrant community in Canada, our committee has only found 11 out of those 68, even though we found thousands and thousands of others. Not one person can deny the massive contribution of Italian immigrants in this province and in this great nation. But through this project, we've also proven the profound loss by our community, a previously untold story, a piece of Canadian history. The statistics are overwhelming. The final total of verified deaths, which had been affixed to our columns in 2016, was 949 men and 3 women. 241 were still on our books, but we had simply run out of time. 32 names were added the week before the memorial inauguration day. During the later years, like Marino said, we've researched and continue to research, and we have over 2,000 more names. And I know that there are probably at least 3,000 or 4,000 further names than that. Sadly, we estimate that between 1880 and 1970, many Italian immigrants were killed on the job here in Canada. And years later, many were killed through industrial diseases. Many ended up paying the highest price for their desire to improve their family's future. Statistically, most of the tragedies occurred in mining, railway building, construction industry, of course, and much later due to the industrial diseases. The hardest hit region of Italy was Calabria, second came Friuli, and all the other regions as well. The historical settlements of Cobalt, Elliott Lake, Sudbury, Hamilton, Niagara Falls, Parry Sound, Port Colborne, Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, Thorold, Welland, St. Catharines, Port Arthur, and Fort William, which is now Thunder Bay, Timmins, Windsor, and of course Toronto, not to mention many of the other cities outside of Toronto. Italians were killed in numerous numbers. In every project, even on the Welland Canal, the biggest group of laborers killed on their memorial are Italians. The worst years for us were between 1907 and 1913. The numbers only fell in 1914 because people didn't move over the ocean in World War I. The second worst span of time was between 1952 and 1969. Today we know that that period was finite. The deaths thankfully plummeted quite a bit, after 1960. That was the year that men like Marino Topang and Fortunato Rao, who stand behind me, fought the government to gain the safety measures enacted mostly as a result of the terrible Hogs Hollow tragedy of March 1960, where 5 men were trapped underground and suffocated and killed. Marino and I, along with the committee, we pledged to continue this project. We pledged to make sure that all of the fallen workers of Italian origin who were killed in these tragedies will be researched and named on our new online Italian Fallen Workers Memorial Wall. Please reach out to us after the reception if you are interested in helping us complete our project. Village Charities has graciously allowed us to be part of their group, so as Marino said, the tax deductions, the donations will be tax deductible. Fulvio wanted to make sure I said that. God bless all of the Italian thousands of fallen workers who will now be recognized forever. Thank you. I would like to introduce Mayor Del Duca of Vaughan, who would like to say a few words. Mayor Scarpiti will be speaking later. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is an incredible honor to have this chance to share my thoughts, my brief thoughts, but it's very, very hard to follow Marino Tapan. As you all heard, the exceptional passion and dedication and frankly emotion that was so evident in Marino's remarks, and not just in his remarks, but in the incredible work and I don't even have the right words to fully describe or adequately describe how devoted he has been to workers, to their families, obviously throughout his career, but in particular to make sure that the Fallen Workers Memorial becomes real and continues to be real. And as he said, that the job is finished. Now, I had a lot of things that I wanted to share before arriving here today, but having heard Marino speak as he did, I just wanted to say, as the mayor of the city of Vaughan, but as also as someone whose own grandfather was injured in 1954 in a construction project, badly injured in a construction project here in the city of Toronto. He survived, thank goodness, but the injuries that he sustained in that project he had to live with for the rest of his life. I can't even begin to imagine, and I know in this audience today there are many families of those who did pay the ultimate price and who did lose their lives. And I know how much the hurt continues to endure for all of you. But I just wanted to say on behalf of the city of Vaughan, as you know, a city that is home to a very, very large Italian-Canadian population, Marino, very publicly here in this room, I pledge personally to do whatever I can as the mayor of Vaughan to help you complete this project to your satisfaction. It is so important when you hear the stories, and I'm looking at the audience today and I know that it's not just about hearing the stories for so many of you. These aren't abstract stories. Yes, the names are on the memorial and they will be in a virtual sense going forward, as was mentioned. But this is not just about names on a memorial wall. This is about your family members, your husbands, your wives, your fathers, your grandfathers, your brothers, your sisters. Every single name that's inscribed on the memorial was a person who loved and was loved, a person who was working, who was dedicated, who came here with a very, very simple desire. Nothing grandiose, nothing outrageous. As Marino himself said, and was an example of, just to be here, to come here, to work hard, to sacrifice for a better life for themselves and their families, you. And the fact that they had to pay in exchange for that simple desire, the ultimate price, is unthinkable. And it's heartbreaking. And it's why it is so very important that we gather here annually and that we continue to raise the awareness and raise the funds that are required to make sure that their memory, their legacy, and ultimately their contribution lives on forever. So I want to thank, of course, Marino and Paula and the entire committee that have worked so hard for so many years. Of course, Village Charities and all of the other community organizations who are here and represented. all of the distinguished guests, the labor leaders, and so many others who are in this room today. Marino, again, you have my pledge. We will not let you down. We will not let the workers down or their families down, and we will finish this project because it's the very least that we can do for all of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Del Duca. We appreciate your wonderful words of reflection and your support this year and every year, really, since 2016. Since it was a rainy day, we decided to bring the event inside. Our Consul General Zilioli has already laid the wreath in honor of the fallen at the foot of the memorial wall, where it stands now. The objects of honor, the tools of the trade of these men, a pair of construction boots, the railway tie, a spike, the miner's hat, the hammer, the shovel, and the safety products created as a result of the Italian labor activism have all been exhibited here in this honor of these men, including the men behind me who worked tirelessly to change the labor laws here in Ontario. In the hopes also that younger generations will remember how the lives of these men were lost through their hard work and the brutal conditions under which they worked. At this time, I would ask the Italian Army and police veterans associations to come and stand here while we prepare for our honor guard. Once they're set up, we now ask our Consul General, Luca Zilioli and Michela Di Marcos of Comites to come up and station themselves in front of the memorial photo, which for today will represent our beloved Italian fallen workers memorial wall in preparation for our moment of silence. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, family members of the fallen workers, may we ask that you rise for Il Silenzio by Nino Rossi, performed by Julian Brindley.
Associazione attendi.
Please remain standing for a moment longer. We are now going to read out the final names that were engraved on the columns this past month. Unfortunately, we had to pick 20 out of 2,000 plus. The names, the rest of them are still awaiting recognition. Here are the following names: Angelo Castellano, Rino Sumona, Federico Mandoli, Giovanni Colura, Edita Re, Giuseppe Panozzo, Guido Ziraldo, Giovanni Di Fazio, Bruno Bortolus, Umberto Mirabelli, Calogero Adelli, Angelo Amedo, Pasquale Anselmo, Pietro Balzani, Michele Bassanissi, Rosario Benedetto, Gino Bertusco, Ruggero Bertusco, Frank Piazetti, Pietro Bozan, Raimondo Nicolucci, and Franco Orsini. Thank you. Please be seated. I believe Mayor Scarpiti just arrived and he would like to say his remarks, if that's okay.
Well, thank you very much, Paula, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a real honor for me to be here. Council General, Senators, MPs, and other representatives that I know are coming and going as it's a busy time in all of our communities. It's a real honor for me to be here today, particularly when we mark the National Day of Mourning for persons killed or injured in their place of work. And it's incredible to hear the numbers of Italian workers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the work that they did, and the families that have been impacted by what happened in their place of work. They left one day hoping to come back. Their families were expecting them to come back. And I just want to say that it's an honor for me not only to be here, but to have supported this project in the past, and recognizing that you're starting another phase, and I congratulate all of the various partners that are involved in the next phase of this project. You know, we feel the legacy of those who lost their lives. We feel it every day in the homes that we live in, the roads that we drive on, the schools that our kids go to, the offices and places of work that we attend to every day, community centers in our community, services like water and electricity that comes to where we live and where we work in our various communities. And today we remember those. And Marino, I want to say thank you, because all of us do make that effort to remember those who have lost their lives building our communities, building this country. But thanks to you, we have a tangible place where we can come and read their names, where we can have a moment of reflection, when we can understand the impact that the loss of their lives has not only had on their families, but to communities and this country of Canada. So I salute everyone, Vila Charities and Marino and all of the partners that are involved. And today reminds us, as you read those names, that life is precious, and that we need to appreciate everyone within our lives, but also to understand that each and every one of us, whether we're in government, whether we're an employer, whether we're a community leader, it's incumbent on all of us to ensure that where people go to work is a safe place to go to work, and that they are not put at peril in doing the work that they're doing in building our communities. So it is with great honor that I'm here, and I'd like to present a certificate to Marino and also to Marco from Vila Charities, to thank them for their outstanding leadership in developing and housing this project and remembering those who did make the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Scarpiti and Mayor Del Duca. Now we turn our attention to the National Congress of Italian Canadians, a group that has flourished and triumphed since their inception here in 1974. Here to say a few words is Giancarlo Beltrame, on behalf of Maria Cima, the new president of the Congress, followed by Tony Cocuzzo, the president of the Toronto chapter of the CIBPA. Both would like to say a few words.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the President of the National Congress of Italian Canadians, Toronto District, it is both a privilege and solemn duty to address you today as we gather to honor the legacy of Italian immigrant workers. My name is Giancarlo Beltrame, and I am the youth representative on the Board of National Congress of Italian Canadians. I am here today on behalf of the President, Maria Cima, who unfortunately could not be here. She sends her regrets, but she has written a message that she would like me to share with you. Today we come together to commemorate and honor the Italian immigrant workers whose contributions have shaped our communities and enriched our nation's heritage. The Italian Fallen Workers Memorial stands as a testament to their resilience, hard work, and unwavering spirit. The Italian Fallen Workers Memorial is not just a monument, it stands as a solemn reminder of the sacrifices made by countless individuals in the name of labor and livelihood. These individuals left behind their homes and families to forge a new life in a foreign land, driven by dreams of opportunity and a better future. They labored tirelessly, often in challenging conditions, to build the foundations of our society and economy. This annual celebration holds a special place in our hearts as we pay tribute to those who faced hardship and danger to support their families and contribute to our nation's prosperity. Each name etched into this memorial represents a story of dedication, courage, and resilience. As we gather here annually to honor their memory, let us not forget the sacrifices they made and the hardships they endured. Their stories remind us of the importance of unity, diversity, and the invaluable contributions of immigrants to our cultural tapestry. Let this occasion be a moment of reflection and gratitude for the generations of Italian immigrant workers who paved the way for us today. Let us continue to uphold their legacy by fostering inclusivity, celebrating diversity, and advocating for the rights and dignity of all immigrants and workers. After years of research and sacrifice, Mr. Marino Topan and his committee succeeded in erecting the Italian Fallen Workers Memorial Wall and in Memorial Gardens of Village Charities, an iconic institution of the Italian Canadian community in Toronto. The formal unveiling of this memorial project on this day 8 years ago will be an important day for the Italian Canadian community in Toronto and all of Canada. This was a day that for all the fallen workers in the Italian community were finally recognized. This monument is a symbol that thousands of Italian workers lost their lives building this great country we call home. The fallen workers have a place where they will always be remembered, and the Italian Canadian community will have a place to mourn and honor those in our collective history who tragically lost their lives contributing to the betterment of this country. May we never forget their journey, their struggles, and their triumphs. Today we stand in solidarity to honor and pay tribute to these remarkable individuals who have left an indelible mark on our history. Thank you from Maria Cima and for me, Giancarlo Beltrame. It's been a pleasure.
I had prepared remarks, but I'm not sure that I'm going to say anything that hasn't been said so eloquently already. So maybe I will just say thank you to Marino, to Paula, and to the committee for the tireless efforts in preserving the legacy of all the workers that paid the ultimate sacrifice in helping build this great country we have with us today. I think it also makes me want to say that we should all reaffirm our commitment to making sure that working conditions are safer for all workers who are doing the labor and putting in all of their sacrifice to continue to build our country. On behalf of CIBPA, I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak to this group today, and I will also echo Mayor Del Duca's comments and say you can count on our organization's support as you go into this next phase of your project, and we'll do whatever we can to support the exercise from here forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Giancarlo and Tony. We are honored to have the support of the National Congress and the CIBPA, and we look forward to working with you, and we will count on your support. And thank you, Mayor Scarpiti and Mayor Del Duca, for also saying that. One of the things that all of these guys and my parents and grandparents wanted when they immigrated to Canada was a better life for their families. We all know that, for their children and their grandchildren. Although many were struck with the misfortune of becoming one of our fallen workers' statistics, many more were able to gain recognition from the opportunity of this great land and change the direction of their family's future. One such man was Carlo Varone. He made his way to Canada from post-war casino in Frosinone way back, I think, in '54. He was only about 25 years old. And like all of these guys, he came to Toronto to make a better future for his family. We all know that he did very well now. Always the entrepreneur and with successful businesses, Carlo changed the face of the hospitality industry here in Toronto in 1975 when he built Monte Casino Place. He was even on the invitation list when the Queen Mother visited Canada in 1981. Despite all these accomplishments, I'm sure, Marino wants to say especially, that if Carlo were here, he would be most proud of his son's accomplishment, Tony Varone, who is a longtime supporter of the Village Charities and a businessman in his own right, as well as a long supporter of our project. He was recently appointed to the Senate of Canada. What an accomplishment. So now, we have to call him Senator Varone. May I please introduce Senator Varone to say his remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Paola. Thank you, Marino. You know, I too have prepared remarks, and I'm probably going to push them aside, but Paola and I grew up on the same street. El Dorado is a middle-class neighborhood where the traffic jam started at 5:30 in the morning because every household belonged to the construction community, whether they were a trade, whether they were a home builder. I mean, my father, and Marino, you touched upon it in terms of workplace safety. My father taught me how to drive a bulldozer before learning how to drive a car. But it was my Uncle Bruno who taught me the right way to drive a bulldozer without hurry and without, making mistakes. And my father was always maniacal about job site safety, not just because the whole of the family was employed by us, but because it was the right thing to do. And I applaud the initiatives in terms of moving this country to a better place where workplace safety is the most important thing on the job site. Not the time frame, not the cost, but the sanctity of the workers who live there and need to provide for their family. Every worker leaves their house with the full expectation of coming home that night, and some of them don't. And there's a reason for it, and through your efforts, Marino, you have corrected that situation, and you talked about the drop-off in terms of deaths on the workplace, and it's a credit to you. I have no idea what my position as a senator can do to help your project, but I will pledge myself personally, and Paola, you know that When you ask me to get things done, I get them done. So whatever you need, just call. I'm there for you. And I congratulate everybody for putting this together and for being such beacons of hope. And Fortunato, you and I go back probably 4 decades in Villa Charities as his pal, and Gino Cucchi, who is a paisan of ours, and I'm honored and proud to stand here with you. Thank you all.
Similarly, the parents of Francesca Lamarca came to Canada hoping for a better future. When Francesca was elected to the Senate of Italy in September 2022, I think, yes, her parents were probably very proud too. They knew that just like Carlo Varone, they had achieved their goals of a better future in Canada for their family. We are honored to have Senator Francesca Lamarca all the way from Rome to say a few words on our project. Senator Lamarca has also been a long-standing, loyal project supporter since the beginning. Branca?
Thank you so much, Paola, for your very kind words. Good afternoon, everyone. We are here, as we are each and every year on this day, April 28th, to mark a phenomenon which sadly, frustratingly, seems to be getting worse instead of better. And so the need to bring attention and awareness to it is great. On this day, as many have said before me, we honor the thousands of Italian immigrants to Canada who died or were injured in the workplace and tragically continue to do so. In Italy, April 28th is known as la Giornata Mondiale per la Salute e la Sicurezza sul Lavoro. In Italia si continua a morire sul luogo del lavoro. Il diritto al lavoro e la tutela del lavoro sono il pilastro della nostra Costituzione, eppure il numero degli infortuni e dei morti nella madrepatria aumenta ogni anno anziché diminuire. A febbraio di quest'anno i morti sul lavoro in Italia sono stati 119, il 19% in più rispetto all'anno scorso. Nel 2023 sono morti 1041 lavoratori e lavoratrici, mentre gli infortuni hanno riguardato 585.000 persone. So, needless to say, we need to stop the hemorrhaging. As long as the current challenging geopolitical situation continues to put a strain on the global economy, the reality is that the more precarious work becomes and the less safety standards are upheld. So more measures need to be implemented to contrast this precariousness. And that's why I am so grateful to the Italian Fallen Workers Memorial Committee, to all the members of the executive here present, but especially to my friends Marino Toppan and Paola Breda for their tireless effort in continuously bringing attention to this cause, to honor the victims of the past and present, and to try to create a safer tomorrow. I thank you. Grazie.
Thank you, Senators. A long-time supporter of the Italian Fallen Workers Memorial Project and a liaison between our committee and the government of Italy here in Canada through Comites is Michela Di Marco. Michela has been a symbol of strength and commitment to me personally in all of the small little details that go forward in continuing this project. I've always appreciated her assistance and all the helpful information that she provides for me. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michela Di Marcos of Comites.
Good afternoon, esteemed guests, Consular General Zerioli, and members of the Italian Fallen Worker Memorial Committee. As the President of Comites Toronto, the Committee of Italians Living Abroad, it is with utmost respect and admiration that I address you today regarding this remarkable endeavor. On behalf of Comites, I wish to express how we are deeply impressed by the extensive research and the unwavering dedication shown by Marino Toppan, Paola Breda, and the entire committee who lead the Italian Fallen Worker Committee. Marino, Paola, thank you. Having been involved in this project since its inception, in particular after becoming the president of Comites Toronto, I have had the privilege of witnessing its evolution in what it has now become. Marino and Paola have informed me of their intention to launch a new plan following this event. As you have heard, this initiative aims to further enhance the project by implementing various components, including a comprehensive update of the website database to accommodate newly discovered names and the validation of additional names. In addition, they would like to finalize a new book documenting the labor impact of Italian-Canadian in Canada labor history, in collaboration with esteemed university professor specializing in labor history. Particularly appealing would be the creation of a documentary shedding light on the struggle faced by Italian workers in Canada over the span of a century. We anticipate that these forthcoming endeavors will garner significant community support, as they hold immense historical significance in the narrative of Italian-Canadian immigration. While we commemorate the lives of the Italian fallen worker and celebrate the progress of this project, it is imperative to acknowledge that workplace fatalities continue to occur at an alarming rate. Therefore, it is essential that legislative measures be strengthened across all levels of government to prevent such tragedies. In closing, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the Fallen Worker Committee for their commendable efforts. May we honor the memory of all Italian fallen workers of Canada with profound respect and reverence. Riposino in pace. I would like to call up a great supporter of the project, the Honourable Member of Parliament, Judith Groh, who would like to say also say a few words to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here today with my colleague Marco Mendicino, Senator Veroni, Consul General, and so many. Marino, you must be extremely proud today that again we are recognizing this day, but you have a full house here, both of the people that come to support you. I first met Marino in 2010, and Marino came to see me to talk to me about this project. And he showed me all the research he was doing. And he was as committed then, in 2010, as he is today, to see this completed. And to see it completed, certainly, Marino, I pledged my support back in 2010. I will continue to give you my support of the Scrow family, to continue to work with you and Paula and all of the community to see your dream. But most importantly, we must always remember those that we have lost. And whenever we pick up the newspaper or we put on the radio and there's a tragedy on the job site and we've lost another person. And I think it breaks all of our hearts because that person lost their life for us. They were building a home for us, whether it was a condo or an office building or something else. And we must all remember all of those. This project will make sure that they're not forgotten, but it's the ones who don't have their name mentioned anywhere that Marino continues to get, so those can be remembered and they're not forgotten. So Marino, thank you for the opportunity, thank you for the wonderful work that you are doing to all of the committee. You're all, God bless all of you, should stay strong and healthy and keep on going because we all want to see this completed. See, we have Mr. Cordiano in the audience today, and I remember when the memorial went up, how beautiful it was. and the contribution of Mr. Cordiano and many of his friends to see that that actually got there. Well, now we have other challenges in front of us, and I would ask that all of us make that kind of pledge that some of my colleagues have meant. Small amounts, large amounts, talk to other people. Let's make this a reality, that we see this happen. So thank you very much. Thank you.
In 2019, we expanded our project goals to include men who were dying in terrible levels in various parts of Ontario, especially Sarnia, due to industrial diseases. They had been working for many years in factories with asbestos and various other contaminants, and they were now in clinics in Sarnia altogether, very sick. And we dedicated our 2019 ceremony called Asbestos and Amianto to a group of people that came up from Casale Monferrato, which is a small city in northern Italy somewhere, where many of the people had been affected by these terrible insidious diseases. So a project supporter, MPP Rudy Cusetto, has always been a supporter of our project, but not only is he a supporter of our project and a politician, member of parliament, provincial parliament, sorry about that, he is also the son of a fallen worker. So he would like to say a few words along that line. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me here today. I'll tell you the truth, today was my niece's birthday and I said I had to be here. So I came with my son and my wife and my other son went to the birthday party. December 12th, 1985, my father died of asbestosis. And it was in Port Credit, at the old Texaco refinery in Port Credit. And for about 4 years, he suffered with this disease. And at the time, I was only about 16 years old, and I had to take off school to bring him to the hospital to do all the checkups. And when he died at home, and he coughed up his lung. A piece of his lung came out at that point. And from that day on, I started working even myself in the automotive industry. I worked for Ford Motor Company, and I was a union member until I moved up in the ranks at Ford Motor Company. And my son, right now, Joey here, he's going into mining engineering. And we've all heard what happens in mines. And I'm proud of my son wanting to go into mining and engineering. But I have always that fear because of what happened to my father. But, I just want to be here today to support everyone here because I know how important this is to us, especially being Italians, because we came here, my parents came here for a better life for their children. And that's what they did. Unfortunately, my father couldn't see me graduate. He couldn't see me becoming an MPP either. So that's something, it hurts me, and I still, sorry about this. It's been very difficult for me, even at my age of 58 today. Just remembering, right now, I vision my father in his bed at home and what happened to him. So I just want to thank everybody, and I want to thank all of you here. And I will do anything possible on my own behalf and as a provincial member of parliament for you, whatever we can do, all together, all three levels of government here. We have to work together because this is very important for all the fallen workers, not just Italians, all the fallen workers in this country. So I want to thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. That was touching. I think we all stand together when we say thank you for the years of assistance and support to all of the people here. All of the members of parliament, the Consul General's office, the Ambassador's office, village charities, various levels of government have been supporting our project unwaveringly. The charities, our longtime main land sponsor, and especially all those involved in taking care of the memorial wall. and hosting our events here every single year since 2016, helping us with the plans and the construction of the memorial from our first meeting at Columbus Center back in 2005 on this particular initiative. Thanks especially goes to our current CEO, Marco Di Buono, who never fails to support us in our work as Village Charity's Chief Executive Officer. Also, Village Charity's Executive Director of Cultural Programming, Giulio De Crioni. He's the one that has to deal with my million emails about the event, and we appreciate his work. Even through COVID, he was assisting us to make sure that the event was noted, even though we couldn't do it in a formal way. They give us 100% of their support, and we also thank them. There are others from Village Charities that I always want to remember to thank. Somehow we always miss that, and I don't want to miss it this year. Sabrina, Agostino, Edgar, and this year Chef Luciano, from the Boccaccio restaurant. Thank you so much to all of you who helped make all of the details of this day work out. And by the way, if you haven't been to Boccaccio restaurant, little plug, we suggest you try it. Come back to Columbus Center and support this wonderful organization who has supported our project for so many years. We are also grateful for the past CEOs of Village Charities, Pel Diulio, the first CEO who accepted this project and eventually became part of our committee, then Eligio Gaudio and Anthony Ticaita, who helped us through the next steps. We thank all of them. We also ask all in the audience to support Village Charities going forward. We would also like to thank the Consulate General of Italy in Toronto, and especially Consul General Luca Zilioli, who has graciously given 100% of his support for the time that he's been here. We are thankful to have such a great consul in our midst, stationed here in Toronto. Thank you, Consul. We would also like to thank Michela Di Marcos of Comites, who has always assisted us on the many details like I mentioned earlier. We'd also like to remember past consul generals who helped our project. Gianni Barbini was the first one, I believe, that helped Marino spearhead the project, and Giuseppe Pastorelli, who brought the project to its initiation in 2016. Thank you to the Consulate General here and the Ambassador's Office. We value the support that you've given us all these years. It's been indescribable. We also want to remember our donors, especially Pina Petriconi of Giannone Petriconi. I believe she's here today. Is she here today? Put up your hand. Maybe she wasn't able to come. Is she here? Oh, thank you, Pina. She was part of the group that designed our memorial. Joseph Combiano is also in the audience from Citizen Group, and they actually built the project. He did all of the work, coordinated all of the various trades from electrical to reinforcing rebar to concrete to everything. And it took a long time, and he was very helpful and footed the bill as well. And we appreciate that. Thank you also goes to Crystal Tile and Marble, who donated the base of the memorial. We can also never forget the late Tiberio Mascalin. He not only made generous donations to each part of our project, but he supported Marino when Marino wanted to give up on many, many occasions, along with Fortunato and the rest of the committee. Thank you, Tiberio. We hope that you can hear us from heaven. You are a great friend to our project and a great friend to Marino, are a big part of this project being completed. We would like to thank the entire committee who stand behind us, who have been working on this for years. And like Marino said, many of them are over 90 years old. And they have dedicated their lives not only to this project for the last 10, 15 years, but also to safety legislation in Ontario and labor activism. These guys, 50 years ago, I know Fortunato spent 3 weeks parading around the Queen's Park on some kind of strike motion, and little bit by little, they changed laws that we now all enjoy. So these people are great pillars of the labor activism community, and we all owe them a great deal of thanks. Thank you. To all the dignitaries here today, and those who have attended in the past, and those who were also unable to attend today due to other commitments, but who have supported our project since 2016, we want to say thank you. Without your support and attention and attendance, our project would not receive the attraction that it gets. So we are very grateful. To the many others who have helped move this project along, There are too many to thank and too many to remember, but all who have contributed, we thank you. Marino is probably going to come knocking on your door sometime this spring or sometime this fall, asking for un po' di gra. Or as they said in Timmins many years ago, moneta. Asking for donations to Village Charities Memorial account so that we can complete our mission of honoring all of the Italian fallen workers, as well as documenting their labor activism in their community, helping to make this world in Canada a safer place. If you have a check handy today, you can drop it off. We will be grateful. Finally, if you enjoy the food and drinks in our reception, please remember that this project has also always been supported by the Primucci family and Pizza Nova, who have graciously made in-kind donations for every single one of our events since 2016. We cannot thank them enough for that too. I believe some of the Primucci family is in the audience tonight, and we just want you to know thank you. We know that members of this family are great supporters of the Italian community across many initiatives, but we are very grateful to their contribution to our project. Thank you. Please enjoy the reception and remember to help us finish our project if you can. God bless the Italian fallen workers. May you all rest in peace. Thank you.
Quando cantavo col Coro Verdi, ho passato 16 anni, conosco questa qua che mi ha dato lei. Ok, oh,
Miguela, a picture. Thank you.
Which one? By my office there? Really? You don't have to go by
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I overlook my shirt.
Bella.
Marco De Buono, I missed your ho perso il tuo discorso.
Today we remember the Canadian Italian workers who lost their lives working on the job, working for their families, trying to build a better life for their families. They made the ultimate sacrifice, and we're here to remember them. And the Italian Canadian community in Toronto is doing that today. Thank you very much. Grazie. Grazie.
Ciao.
So che tu hai scritto tanti libri.
Due
libri. E perché credi nella comunità, credi che è un progetto possibile, fattibile.
Sì. Quindi non soltanto i libri. Ho partecipato anche a questo comitato, ho fatto tante cose. Sono orgoglioso di essere un italiano vero. Grazie.
Gino, è una collaborazione molto commovente, sentire dalla voce dei partecipanti quanto è stato difficile e quante sofferenze gli italiani negli anni hanno subito e hanno donato la loro vita per il Canada e soprattutto per una vita migliore della propria famiglia.
Certamente, quando abbiamo fatto questa raccolta di nomi di queste persone che sono morte sul lavoro, ho sentito storie che mettono paura. Sui giornali nel nord dell'Ontario c'era scritto: oggi è morto John Smith e 2 italiani, senza nomi. Sono morti tanti di quegli italiani il primo giorno che sono andato al lavoro. I 3 fratelli Marra sono morti lo stesso giorno, un'imbarcatura gli è caduta sulla testa. Quando i parenti sono andati a casa di queste signore a dire alla mamma che i figli erano morti. La povera mamma credeva che era una visita di circostanza, voleva offrire loro il caffè, invece gli dovevano dare una triste notizia che 3 figli erano morti. Triste. Quando Marino Taupan mi ha chiesto di essere parte di questo comitato mi sono sentito molto orgoglioso e felice di aiutare e abbiamo raccolto i nomi tramite il Comitas, da allora io ero il presidente del Comitas di Toronto. Abbiamo raccolto centinaia e centinaia di nomi e questo monumento è veramente l'orgoglio di noi italiani qui a Toronto, è uno dei monumenti più grandi per i caduti sul lavoro di tutto il mondo.
Grazie Gino.
Grazie a te.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. No worries.
I think I said her name was Maria Chima by mistake.
No, I heard Giancarlo.
Yeah, were you outside?
It was called the Veltri family, right? Hello, Yolanda. How are you? Yolanda.
È stato commovente sentire anche questa esperienza tua di famiglia, di vita, proprio per una vita dei vostri genitori che hanno cercato nel Canada un paese per vivere meglio, per la propria famiglia, per se stessi, però la sicurezza sul lavoro è un fattore importante.
I totally agree. It was so difficult. Like, he came here to make a better life for himself after the Second World War, for his family, and unfortunately, in 1985 he died of asbestosis due to the work environment that he was in. And there was a lot of Italian workers that ended up having the same thing happen to them. But at the end of the day, we have to unite and work together and improve the laws that are in the country to protect our workers out there in labor.
Si chiedeva a 92 anni un discorso bello, veramente fatto con il cuore, e chiedeva veramente uno sforzo di vedere questa cosa prima che un giorno dovrà morire anche lui. E quindi cosa farete?
Well, like what I said earlier on, all levels of government should work together, not just for Italian fallen workers, but for all fallen workers. But on this project right here, it's close to my heart, and we're going to do everything possible to build a better project for us here in this community here. Thank you. Thank you.
Andiamo a mangiare
It all goes by quickly, right?
Maybe.
Restructure everything. And then you guys built walls that they had to raise the pier.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the guys at 10 years, we got too much land for try to get industrial space nowadays. It's crazy. Good job. Anyways, well, good to see you. You're looking good.
Okay, see you later. Ciao, Yolanda.
Well, hopefully we'll see you up our way one of the days.
Yeah, we will. Okay.
All right. Hi, how are you?
Allora, toccante, è stato molto commovente come evento per ricordare queste morti sul lavoro, quindi la sicurezza del lavoro è un fattore veramente da tenere presente.
This is an amazing project. It's an opportunity for all of us to have a place where we can come and reflect and remember those who lost their lives. Honestly, we remember them every day because their legacy lives on. As I said, whether it's the homes that we live in, the roads that we travel on, the places of work that we go to, these individuals were building things, were creating communities, and obviously contributing to the prosperity of Canada. And so it's with heavy hearts that we remember them today and know that they made the ultimate sacrifice. And I just think it's wonderful that we have a place to remember them and remember their legacy.
Grazie.
Grazie. Thank you. Perché Marco mi conosce.
Sì, sicuramente.
Questo è paesano no. Giancarlo,
Sì.
giovanissimo, abbiamo sentito il tuo discorso così toccante e anche emozionato.
Sì, sì.
È emozionante sapere che i vostri nonni, i vostri genitori hanno sofferto così tanto proprio per creare un mondo migliore qui in Canada.
Sì, esatto, è stato anche per me emozionante di essere di anche terza generazione italo-canadese, è sempre emozionante di pensare a quello che ha fatto i miei nonni durante il loro tempo come immigrante, è sempre servito di dare al loro sacrificio come gioventù, mai dimenticare dal loro sacrificio, è così importante.
E tu fai onore a loro anche e soprattutto perché continui a parlare la lingua italiana.
Sì, esatto, e anche per dare al loro sacrificio da parlare italiano è così importante, così si può capire, non c'è una frontiera di lingua, così si può capire quello che pensano, quello che parlano, quello che dicono. Sì, è sempre importante anche imparare la lingua, a continuare a promuovere la cultura e non dimenticare dal loro sacrificio. Sì.
Grazie, congratulazioni.
Grazie a te. Grazie.
Il padre è amico di Gianfranco, sono andati a scuola.
Bene, quindi le origini, di che origini ha
Il padre è
Trevisano e Ciociaro.
La madre è cassinese,
Sì.
Pastanelle, Cervaro.
E da parte di mia mamma sono pugliese da Bari.
Bene.
Grazie.
Congratulazioni.
Grazie.
Console. Lei dell'Italia. Veramente questa è stata una giornata veramente emozionante, commovente e come lei ha ben detto ha dato veramente, lei qui rappresenta l'Italia a tutti gli effetti, anche perché è amato da tutti.
Non so se sono amato da tutti, spero di sì, ma la cosa importante è che questa bella giornata, secondo me, oltre a portare avanti il discorso sull'importanza di completare l'opera per completare la memoria degli italiani caduti sui luoghi di lavoro qua in Canada, ha dato anche un altro bellissimo segnale. E cioè, se avete notato, c'erano rappresentanti che hanno parlato di tutte le più grandi associazioni italo-canadesi. E questo è già di per sé una bella notizia per tutti quanti. Significa che sicuramente su un argomento come questo c'è unità e io spero che questa unità, perché l'unione fa la forza, continui anche su tutte le altre materie di interesse della comunità. Però per adesso ci concentriamo su quello che è stato detto oggi, sul monumento, sul memoriale e sulla possibilità, abbiamo sentito molti impegni, commitments come si dice qui, speriamo che questo vada a buon fine, come diciamo in Italia, e noi continueremo senz'altro a sostenere il comitato e tutti coloro che vorranno dare una mano. Grazie.
Grazie.
Yeah,